Wake up, come on, how are ya? Yes, genius, she called me genius. The guy before me was an ephemeral artery and you called me a genius. This is an amazing event. Look at him, he woke up for this. How are you, sir? Yes, this is an amazing event. Gives us a big round of applause for coming out tonight. Come on. This is a happy, happy occasion. Usually Jewish events aren't this happy. They're sad, they're miserable, they're depressing. First of all, this is a Jewish event, and she did not give me the keep it clean speech. Whenever you do a Jewish event, someone gives you the keep it clean speech. This is how it goes. You gotta keep it clean. Then they give you the disclaimer, not for me. I wanna hear your regular act. As if my regular act had a pole and two midgets. I don't know what they think. You gotta keep it clean. I recently performed at a Shaver Brachas in the middle of Borough Park, just so you know how my career was going. The woman that hired me wasn't wearing a wig, she was wearing a helmet. Her husband, a 9-foot chassid with the white socks and the spodek, that's the Strymel that's on steroids. She says to me, you gotta keep it clean. Not for us, we're not that religious. It's the in-laws, they're from Lakewood. But this is fun. Usually you follow a depressing movie when you do these events. I'm a professional at doing comedy where comedy's not meant to be done. For real, think of these Jewish events. You can't imagine these depressing stories. They show a movie and bring me out. Diseases love me. Diseases love me. I just did the Diabetes of New Jersey. This is how it goes. They put the guy on the film. He comes on, I lost my sight, they took my toes off, there's a machine on my pancreas, and here's Modi. I did a show at the Holocaust Museum, where comedy's meant to be done, I'm assuming, because they hired me. They had me follow a woman who is a survivor that said she's gonna get the award, and she'll introduce you. They didn't mention she's gonna speak for 38 minutes about what she went through during World War II. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. Grown men bawling and crying. I'm in the back crying also, not because of her story, because I have to follow this. She finally concludes, and so from the time when we were taken away and then when we were in hiding, and now when Tibor and I see our grandchildren, I know I have won the war. Please help me welcome Modi. I'm literally following Schindler's List. But this is nice, and the honorees we have here tonight, unbelievable professors and doctors and geniuses. This is beautiful. Usually at these honorees, at these events, the honorees are usually, well, we all know what an honoree is, and this has nothing to do with this evening, right? Nothing to do with this evening. Usually the honoree is the biggest putz the organization can find. They find some putz, they tell them, you'll be the honoree, everybody knows you, they'll give money, and that'll be it. It never happens. No one gives a dime, he ends up writing a check, and that's how it goes. Then they give him some Kiddush cup in museum glass. Their house was like a Judaica store. And they have different types and levels of honorees. You have the Young Award, the young leadership, the Lador Vador Award. This is a young couple from the community. She's pretty and young. He still has his hair and he's still thin. They're still in love because they only have one kid. And she comes on, and it's usually the wife that speaks, hi, it's such an honor to be here for the Lador Vador Award. I know we've only been in the community for just about 1.5 years, but you've all made us feel so welcome. I know it's got nothing to do with the fact that my husband is the #1 hedge fund manager on Wall Street, and we're building the biggest house in Great Neck. It should be called the Ayin Hara Award. Everybody's just looking at them and saying, I can't believe these two, I hate these two. The Ayin Hara Award. Then your next one is some woman who's also involved in the dinner. She's a co-chair, and she cannot stop saying that word enough. I'm co-chairing the co-chair committee. There's a dinner committee, the honoree committee. I'm coaching the co-chair committee. Last year I co-chaired the co-chair committee. Now I'm co-chairing co-chair, co-chair, chair, co-chair, co-chair. She cannot stop saying, and no one knows what the hell she's saying or what the hell she's done. And we have one right in the back. She comes on and makes her speech, and it's full of inside jokes that nobody gets. Comes on, as co-chair I would be remiss if I didn't thank my other co-chairs. Stacy, you are my partner in crime. When we decided to do a plated salad instead of a served salad, you spoke with the caterer, you put your foot down, you made it happen. Nancy, even though we only met when we began co-chairing the co-chair chair committee for co-chair and the honorary co-chair committee, I now feel as though you are my sister. Stacy, you know what I mean. Ah ha 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 ha, ah ha 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 ha. They speak in that cadence, that ta-da-da-da-da-da, ta-da-da-da-da-da, and no one thinks my husband's gay. Then, of course, you have the organizations from Israel. Israel knows if you want to raise money, you got to do it here. No one in Israel is going to give you a dime. They come here, the hospitals, the museums, their charities, they come here. And they always find some woman from that organization, some woman that has helped, who was helped by the whole thing. She comes on, shalom and hello. My name is Yochevet. Growing up in Israel, on Kibbutz Ha'Ra'ah, I never imagined I would be here today. Thanks to the organization Kids for Kids on Kibbutzim, or KKK, I am not only here, it is also how I found my husband, Scott. When Scott was doing his year on Kibbutz Ha'Ra'ah, which is north of nowhere in Israel, I saw him and right away I knew this is my ticket out of this desert wasteland. We got married right after I finished the army. I went from driving a tank to driving a Range Rover. And she is stunning. She's like a 9 with the little dress and the Moroccan skin, the hazel eyes. And Scott looks like a bowling ball with a yarmulke. Fat Scott. That's my wife, you'll have it. Israeli, 2 passports. Nuts, right? Yeah, she works out all day. Same trainer every day. They even go on vacations together. Is this too much? This might be the last time I perform for Shaare Zedek ever. I have been a part of Shaare Zedek's family for a while. I did a Danube trip with the professor. It was unbelievable. Those of you who don't know, they took a boat that went up the Danube. And they weren't sure, should we hang a big flag on the side? I said, just let's scream out Jews, 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 and have them shoot us right directly. Like we're going through Austria and Germany. They were wondering, I said, how about we just sit and don't talk? It stopped in all the cities, and we saw the most beautiful synagogues and grave sites that were hidden under highways. The most unbelievable, royal, beautiful Jewish life. It was an unbelievable trip. But never were we as close to God on that trip until we went to the opera and were given our tickets. We sat on the roof. Now you have to imagine the biggest donors of Shaare Zedek sitting in the worst seats in the opera, watching the Germans singing, we couldn't see a thing. One of the women yelled out, when Mary and I were poor, we never sat like this in a theater. Well, no one here is poor. You have 18 families that gave $1 million each, and that means I should be getting a lot more than you're giving me, Rachel. Ladies and gentlemen, mazel tov to all the honorees, all of them. Thank you all very much for making me a part of the evening. Back to Rachel.